I'm live. We are live. I'm Bobbi Rowntree, born medium, and I am here live with you taking your questions. Welcome. It's been a while. I'm sorry I did not show up in February and I apologize. And now we are actually on the last day of March and I'm showing up. So I'm kind of like it's been 2 months. It's been just a little bit over 2 months since the last time that I was live. And I guess yes, there's a reason for that. That's actually hello, Carrie. There's a reason for that, and that's because uh okay, they actually tell me to say it like this because like I don't have a mind of my own. I was digging out from a bunch of stuff, I guess, or something to that effect. It's not I wasn't too busy. Hello, Pat. But it just wasn't I couldn't it just I didn't. Hello, Sue. How are you? Okie dokie. So today I'm going to take questions, obviously, but I thought actually, because hello, Julie. I miss you too. Actually, I think we're going to be talking to each other next month. Um, I, uh, hmm, hello, Linda. I plug other businesses a lot, island businesses, because I feel that it's important for us to support each other, things like that. And there's one business that I have that I have not really plugged. I plugged it a little bit on my page. And it's actually my husband. My husband is an amazing carver. And I thought, you know what? He carved me this for Valentine's Day. It is a fairy house. I just grabbed this log out of our wood pile and said, it looks like a fairy house to me. Can you make it a fairy house? And he did. And like, he is so talented. Talented. I mean, look at that. It's awesome. So I thought I would plug him a little bit because I actually think he needs a little more encouragement, knowing because artists are like that because he is actually an artist in what he's able to do. He has beautiful work. Yes, thank you, Carrie. He does. Now, these runes he made for me one Christmas that he carves individually. He's actually making a set of runes for someone right now, one of our Orachellians. I'll call her an Orachellian. Right now, he's talked to her about making her runes. And so he's making a set right now. Whether she buys them is up to her, but he is he's up for requests. I'm going to even say that he's up for requests because I've gotten 2 sets of runes out of him. And why should I be the only one who benefits from his talent? Okie dokie. It does look, it totally looks like a birdhouse, doesn't it? It doesn't open up or anything. It's actually a solid piece of wood and the moon was just you do that with a knife. I can't, but it's gorgeous work. So I just wanted to plug it a little bit. He is Heathen Creatives on Facebook. So you can find him there on Facebook and say, hey, your wife sent me. Okay. You're very welcome to. Okie dokie. So I have birdhouses in my ditch for fun. Oh, that's interesting. Like, in the ditch or for me my ditch line is at a line of trees, so I guess I could do that. I was gonna put some red dresses there. I could put both actually, so one for the birdies and one for the ladies. Okie dokie. So what else to talk about? I am I'm so used to taking questions right away. I don't even know how to talk about things to myself. Okie dokie. Now, Carrie has, is that his profile? Is that what you've shared? Because I can't see. I just see that you've shared a profile. You can share yours too. Carrie is the crystal lady. Many of the crystals that I show you guys and the tiaras that Aaron and I wore that one day, those are from Carrie's crystals. And she has a great crystal shop in her home, which is really awesome. Oh, that's his page. Thank you, Carrie. Yes, Carrie has added my husband's Facebook profile page on the comments. So if you want to look him up, you can look it up through Carrie. Thank you so very, very much for sharing that, Carrie. Okie dokie. So it's Easter. Easter. Oh, groovy. You shared yourself. Awesome. So Easter, what does Easter mean to you? To me, Easter means rebirth, and it kind of maybe across the board means rebirth. I see it very much with the bunny and the eggs and the multitudes, fertility, things like that. So to me, Easter is like celebrating my garden and celebrating rebirth and how the flowers are coming up and everything is coming new again. And kind of, I don't want to say the end of death, but that's actually what is in my head, the end of death, because the end of death would be very crowded. And can you imagine getting stuck in your corporeal form for this amount for eternity without actually getting to go and ascend and become your true self? That would be terrible. We don't want to end death. But rebirth, rejuvenation, that is something we really, really want to do. That is why we do the spring cleaning. That's one of the reasons why I haven't been live in 2 months. I've been working on my book, and hopefully we're done editing. Oh my goodness, have any of you guys written a book? The editing process, holy Christmas, it's like doing my taxes. It's endless. So I'm doing my taxes as well, so that's on my brain. But the getting things out and starting something new, that's what I have been working on all this time. It's nice to see you too, Amanda. That's what I've been working on. So that's where all my energy has been going. And unfortunately, it kept me off my live. So I do apologize for disappearing for as long as I did, but it did. Okie dokie. Now, Easter. What does Easter mean to you? Are you guys going to have an Easter dinner? Are you celebrating Easter this weekend, or do you celebrate something different? Are there other holidays? Because Easter, as we kind of celebrate it here, can be seen as a Christian holiday. It's pretty non-secular. I know for myself, it was Easter. Easter just meant the bunny and candy and trying to find candy in the morning on Sunday. So, what does Easter mean to you? Do you celebrate it in this kind of way? If you don't have kids, what do you do at Easter? We're going to have a dinner. We're going to have a dinner tomorrow night where a pig will be served, not to me, but to everybody else. And yeah, so is it just another reason for a holiday, or is Easter actually something that means something to you? Do you put out Easter decorations? It's not like Christmas. I actually have a box of Easter decorations that I haven't put out yet because, just like with everything else, it's been something that has gone by the wayside a little bit. Planting and growing ourselves in plants. Yes, I agree completely, Carrie. Easter marks a growth time. I actually think that's why we do the Easter cleaning, because you kind of have to get rid of the old to invite in the new, and that's what I'm trying to do. Does anyone need any stuff? Because I got lots. Cords. Oh my gosh. I'm going through my storage, and the amount of cords we accumulate. I have cords for computers that I don't even own anymore. I have cords for devices that I don't even, like, they're not even valid anymore, for goodness sakes. It's insane the amount of stuff we collect. And when I think about the stuff, it makes me feel lethargic. It makes me feel like I'm being held down. It makes me feel stressed. It makes me feel frustrated. So, yeah. So I'm using Easter, and I have been using it ever since In Bulk, actually. Because In Bulk is around Groundhog Day. It's actually the same day. Well, yeah, okay, first or second. But it is about fertility. It's about actually, it's kind of like In Bulk is about insemination, and Easter is about birth. And so while we're in, yeah, that's true. You get ready for something. You're getting, because when you're pregnant, if any of you out there have been pregnant, you know that the whole time you're pregnant, you're preparing for this massive change and this new life that is coming to you. So the time I find between In Bulk and Easter is kind of like a quick darn quick 2-month pregnancy time, where we have been prepared and we are moving forward into this new life, or to look towards a new life. And I'm going to put this question to you. Do you spring clean? Do you once a year go through your stuff and spring clean? I've actually only ever known one family that does a full on spring cleaning. And it was when I was a little girl, and they were I'm not sure what do you say sect of Christianity, what part of which they were Christian, but I'm not sure which kind of Christian, because there's several different types, if you know what I mean, like Protestant, Catholic, Presbyterian. There's different types of Christian, and their mother would throw away. Hello, Shelley. Would throw away like almost all of their possessions for spring cleaning. I think it was for Lent, and I think you give up things for Lent, and they would the kids would cry. It was that much of a cleaning because they would lose a lot of stuff. Okie dokie. I agree, Pat. Pat says, I pull out a bunch of stuff, get overwhelmed, and put it away with the promise to do it later. It never happens. I want to say get out of my head, Pat, but don't. I agree. I had the same thing. My witch's kitchen right now, I can't make any bath salts and I can't make any candles because it's full of storage room stuff, because I've got to get it organized. My plan is, hello, Chris, is to take clear totes and fill them with the things and have it labeled, so that if someone comes to me and said, I actually have a clear tote this big full of playing cards. Does anyone need any playing cards? Oh my goodness. Okay, Amanda agrees with you, Pat. Yeah, because a little voice inside my head said, well, Easter's coming. Family is coming to stay in the house. You got to clean this up. But if I do that, I'm just going to end up exactly where I was, or even worse, because now I've dismantled a bunch of boxes and they're all over the place. So I got to reorganize them, put them together. I really think I used to know someone who used to do this for a living, go in and organize people. And I don't know if I've mentioned Swedish death cleaning to you guys. I know I've mentioned Swedish death cleaning on a couple of Zooms that I've done, because I do Zooms on YouTube talking about different subjects. I'm actually going to be doing one next week about witchcraft. We've already done one about witchcraft. I share them on my Facebook page, but sometimes it's hard to, because Facebook's constantly moving in the information. So they're on there, and they're also on my YouTube channel. Peaceful Inner Warrior is what they are, and we talk about witchcraft and homelessness and mental health. But that was a bit of a segue away over there. I can't put this stuff away, but I would love it if there was somebody. But then again, yeah, if there was somebody who could come and tell me which things are really important and help me make those, I think, is it Marie Calendar, those decisions? Does it serve you? Does it give you peace? If not, you get rid of it. That is this item, give me this. I have, I went to see my daughter this week in UVic, and my daughter's a very brilliant young lady and always wants to help her mommy, and tells me that she feels that I have attachment disorder. And I had to think about that for a little bit. And I looked it up and I thought, she might have a point. And then I told my son, and he agreed with her. I have a hard time letting go of things. And I don't know if it's genetic, because I love you, Mom. I don't know if you're watching. You never do. So just might be the one time you do. My mommy has this difficulty. My mom has been on her own, like without kids, for an awful long time. I'm 52, and I moved out when I was 17. But she still has 2 storage lockers full of stuff, and she feels attached to that stuff, because there's half and then there's half. My mom comes from a mother who did this. And hi, Marnie. And Shelley, which one? Me too, LOL. Do you have a lot of stuff, Shelley, or do you have attachment disorder? Because are they the same thing? Like, okay, so I'll finish this and then I'll tell you what I did. So I wonder if it's because my dad died when I was 16. And since my dad died when I was 16, when my dad died, it wasn't just that my dad died. My dad died, and we moved, and there were certain things that we kept and certain things that we didn't. I wasn't part of it. I moved before my mom. My mom moved after us. It was my sister and I. There's 3 of us. But I actually wonder because in my travels of looking through everything, I found my dad's electric razor. Like, yeah, and he died in 1988. And I have his electric razor still. What do I do with it? How do I get rid of that? And now I've got this and I don't know what to do with it. So, um, both. Okay, Shelly has both. She can't throw nothing out. Need it. I never had anything from childhood. Think that's why. Ah, I get it. Yes, because I actually think my mother got it because her mother went through the 30s. And the 30s, the Depression was a time when people couldn't get anything. No one had any money. There wasn't stuff in the store. We just weren't able to do this. So people hoarded stuff and held on to what they could because there wasn't new things coming. Now we have nothing but new things. I mean, I have been looking everywhere because this is where it all started. Our family, my son has asked for it down where he's going to university. So I got everything out, but I can't find that bar, like the most important part, the sensor bar. And I know it's around here. So I've been looking through absolutely everything to try to find the bar, but I could just go buy it. But then I have two bars, one I can't find and one I have. And that adds to the stuff. Does that make sense? Okie dokie. Pat says that she's exactly like me. Everything came from someone. My youngest son says they don't care about the chair that belonged to my mother's aunt's grandmother. It is just junk. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because that's where the Swedish death cleaning comes in. The way I've seen it with Swedish death cleaning is you go through your stuff so your family doesn't have to. And it only means something to you. And the things that actually mean something to us as a race, and I'm having trouble with that one right now, with the word race right now. Then that needs to be shared. You got to watch this show because I could explain it like crazy, but I would not do it justice. And I actually called it, I think it's called The Simple Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. So please check it out. It's so good because it's so enlightening to the fact that I can hold on to all of these things that mean so much to me, but then I'm saddling my children with this. Well, that meant so much to mom, so I have to keep this. And I know one of my children who would keep it because she would feel that I would be upset if she didn't. And I don't want to do that to them because I love you, mom. That was done to me. And that's why I have this a little bit, I think. But I also wonder if it's genetic, and I also wonder if it's a reaction from losing my dad. What do you guys think? Okie dokie. So, okie dokie. Pamela has a question. Thank you, Pamela. Hello, Jerry. I don't think I said hello to you yet. Okie dokie. I'm wondering if there's anything I can do to help Jay deal with the survivor's guilt he feels. I've told him he needs to allow himself to know he is worthy and deserving of love and happiness. How long do you think this will carry on for him? I don't know that our relationship will advance until he comes to terms with this. Namaste. Thank you very much, Pamela. Okie dokie. I actually think, Pamela, that you're kind of right, that it won't advance until he's able to allow it to do so. But yeah, and it's not even just, it is survivor's guilt. We can totally, but it was living guilt as well within it. Yeah, okie dokie. Oh, that's interesting. They actually show a cord cutting ceremony and a releasing and a letting go. And that is actually just as much for the person he's grieving as him. Because from what I can understand from the person he's grieving, that's actually what I'm seeing, which is completely contrary. Totally contrary to what you would expect from her in life. Completely and absolutely contrary. Not something she would do, not something she would feel. I think avarice, what might have been a part of her life, and it might have had more to do with her own feelings of shortcomings rather than anger towards you. And I actually, this looks like because I know what we're talking about, and it's like a breakthrough. But it's not surprising to me in any way, shape, or form whatsoever, because once someone crosses over all of that humanness, this competitiveness that we have with each other, it kind of falls away a little bit. And sometimes it can result in us experiencing something from that person, which would be completely and totally out of character for them. But with the ascension and being on the other side, the clarity is there, if that makes sense. A cord cutting ceremony, that's interesting, actually. Thank you, Pamela, because that's actually one of the things I was going to talk about. This attachment disorder idea that I have in my head. I went on YouTube on my phone. I use YouTube a lot for audio novels, and obviously I have a YouTube channel, so I like to support other YouTube channels because you get what you give. So I try to support other YouTube channels, and one of the ones that I found has meditations for attachment disorders, or attachment, like cord cutting meditations, which I actually listened to last night as I was going to sleep. And even within it, the young woman who was talking to me, I say young woman because I feel so old now. The young woman who was talking to me was saying how it doesn't matter if your mind starts to wander at other places, your subconscious mind will hear what we're saying. So that's awesome, because that, as I'm falling asleep, I don't want to not get all the benefits of a guided meditation if I fall asleep. And to be perfectly honest, it's not part of my teachings to go to sleep with a meditation, only because I was completely taught that meditation needs to be done sitting up, just like we are right now, so that chakras are stacked. But I still think that a laying down meditation is valid, because my shavasana is valid. I am laying down for shavasana, even though I'm releasing everything out of my mind in shavasana. The body is having a meditation. So just a little preamble there. But it's a cord cutting ceremony, and I tell you that preamble, Pamela, because I kind of think that that's what he needs to do. Look up some cord cutting ceremonies, some disattachment sort of ceremonies, meditations. Why did I say ceremonies? Anyway, things that'll get into his subconscious mind and allow his mind to clear, because his mind is the one that's holding on to the guilt. That's the only thing that's holding on to the guilt, because the mind itself was taught here values, here things. So his mind is telling him that it's not correct for him to get over this in some kind of way. It's adding the guilt on. And honest to goodness, I don't think it's just his. I think he's worried about the emotions of others. I think he's worried about others judging him. I think he's worried about upsetting others, maybe a little bit too nice there. But he needs to be worried about upsetting you, honestly, because in doing so, he's upsetting himself. He's actually continually closing a door onto his own toes. That's the way that they're showing it. So he needs to let go. Because if he lets go, he helps the person on the other side as well as himself. And in turn, then you. But yeah, okie dokie. But I do think you're correct that the release has to happen for you to move forward. And the release has to happen. And Other Jay says so too, if you know what I mean. Okie dokie. Thank you, Pamela. Okie dokie. I keep everything tightly since my Viking died. It is needed for its energy. Interesting. Now, Terry, with that, because I think we may have had a typo in there, that it might be that, yes, okay, yeah, like clearing energy. Yeah, I agree completely. I agree. When I actually want to get all this done because I'm doing my second novel now. And if I can get all of the past worked out, then I can start moving into the future. Because that's actually all the stuff I have stored. It's the past. It's completely the past. And in some ways, I am not getting rid of a great deal of it because it actually pertains to my children. So I'm making it so that they can pick through it if they need to. But yeah, it's weird how we do that for other people, isn't it? Okie dokie. Now, Julie, my dad was very poor growing up, and as an adult, it was hard for him to let go of things as he saw everything as being gold to him. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think our childhood can completely make us feel this way. And I honestly think that our ability to bring abundance into our lives so readily and constantly is actually even causing more problems in this kind of way. Okie dokie. It is an attachment to someone who is gone, feels like you are giving another piece of them away. Yes, exactly, Sue. It does. Even though actually, if my dad, I always say, if my dad came back to life right now, if my dad came back to life right now and saw that I still have his razor and his hairbrush, I put his hairbrush in a plastic bag because it still had his hair in it, and I still have it. 36 years my father has been on the other side. 36. And I still have his hairbrush and his razor. And if he found out, well, he knows, he would go, "What the heck are you doing? You moved that how many times? Oh my goodness, I'm right here." That's what he would say. And honestly, if anyone knows better, I should know better. But still, I have this thing where I'm holding on to this stuff. Yeah, absolutely have this thing where I'm holding on to this stuff. Okie dokie. Now, my dad, who is in heaven, does have a message for me on moving. Thanks and happy Easter. All be blessed. Hello, Linda. Okie dokie. Would you be picking up some pretty big roots to move? Would it be like pulling a redwood tree out of the ground to move? Are you going through your stuff too? My goodness, it's a theme. Okie dokie. Now, honestly, I got to go with the first thing I saw, and I actually saw Electric Mayhem. Electric Mayhem is the band from The Muppet Show. And they used to sing a song called "Moving Right Along." That's the only part I know of it. Moving right along. That's the only part I remember of it. I'm sorry. I wish I knew more. But that's what I'm seeing. And what it looks like he's really excited for you, that you're going on an adventure, and that it feels transient, which is strange because you're talking about it as a move, not as a cross-country trip. And that's what it kind of feels like. But it might even be that if you lived in the same place for a really, really long time, and is it somewhere where you know exactly what every day is going to be like, and then when you move, that might be much, much different for you. And are you moving closer to family? I actually think there's the only thing that's going to be disconcerting at all in this move, is the energy. You're moving to a place with very, very different energy. You must be a very energetically charged person, someone who actually feels the energy of a place and feels the energy of different things. And it looks like you're moving somewhere. Are you moving closer to your daughter? That you're moving somewhere where the energy is very, very different, and that you're going to have to reroute because you need to route. I think you might be a little bit like me, a little bit, because I actually just saw the hot air balloon, and I'm a bit of a hot air balloon. I've actually think I've even compared myself to a hot air balloon on here before. So there's something like that. But he's right with you and will stay with you. And I think you're going to take him with you. Do you have his ashes or something like that? He's going to go with you. He doesn't need to be where you used to be. It's only a geographical location after all. That's kind of, yeah, I agree with that. It's only a geographical location. Doesn't really mean anything, but the energy means something to you. So whatever you have that actually balances energy, please make sure you're moving that with you, and that you might even want it to be preset before you move in there, so that, or something, you might even want to get the land smudged or something like that. Yeah, because of you. And I mean that with love, because I would have the same sort of situation. Yeah, I actually even moved from a highly energetic town to this town because the highly energetic town actually messed with my brain a little bit too much. It was it was a lot because there's so much energy there. And even when I go there now, can anyone guess which town? It's an island town. But most of you know where I used to live. But anyway, yeah, I had to leave because it was just too much was going on. I also left because they were messing with the educational system, and I'm an education mom. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. This is a great question, Sue. Thank you so very much for asking this question. I was feeling my mom around, but not so much now. Am I blocking? Excellent. Actually, and they're showing it to me in this kind of way. When we're on the other side, we actually go through not trials. That's what actually just popped in my head. Not classes either. That came too, but maybe those kinds of words are words that your mother wants me to use for you for a higher understanding of it. But it's ascension. Your mom's doing better. Ooh, low battery. Oh my gosh. Your mom is doing better than she was before. So she's ascending and going higher. And when they ascend and go higher, they actually communicate with us ever so slightly differently. They can communicate in a broader sort of way or a more ethereal kind of way. That's actually how they want me to say it to you. And your mom's drawing a direct comparison between herself and my father. With my father, I felt a very similar thing. Well, sorry about that. I felt that at one point there was a distance in some sort of way. And my father used to come in my dreams all the time, like so well. Excuse me, going down. So well that I remember them so vividly walking beside him and actually seeing his arm and everything. And that doesn't happen like it used to anymore. Now, when he comes into my dreams, and actually when he first started, I would chase him in my dreams or he'd be on the other side of a window. And then he got to the point where he could come next to me. And then he got to the point where he was like, the air. So it's actually having to do with his time on the other side and how well he's doing and how he's ascending. So if you're not feeling your mom in the same way, she is still around you. She's just ascending and doing better. So it's yay, mom. So anytime you feel that quite possibly that could have been mom, act as though it really actually is, because then your mom will start to see the ways that you're understanding her presence and she will start doing it more. Also, too, there might be a change in you going on because that's what she's indicating as well. She's showing me your nose. So it actually could be as well that you are increasing your psychic abilities or moving something. When I see the nose, I always go straight to clairvoyance because when I was young and I was like this just from the beginning, I would get sinus problems. And after I opened up, I came to realize that these sinus problems were actually the information getting stuck in my third eye and just kind of sitting there. So she's showing you sniffing up. So to me, what she's trying to say is you're actually experiencing me differently. And it could be that you are seeing things in your head more than you're feeling things like you used to. It could be that you're actually getting a little more clairvoyant and that she needs to come to you in that kind of way as well. Also, I hear her saying to you, make some demands on me. So tell her how you want her to talk to you. Tell her how you want tell her how you want her to come to you and regale you with her thoughts, feelings, and wishes, because that's what you need to do. That's actually what I heard in my head. So I have to say, I want to say something different, but I have to say what they say on my head. And I got to tell you, Pat Warren's here because he's here. Hey, okay. So, Julie, my dad's first anniversary of his passing is coming up this week. Does he have any messages for me? Is there anything he wanted us to do that we haven't done for him yet? Okie dokie. Actually, as I'm reading that, the word pray comes in. So there might actually, I don't know if there are, I think it's seek, but I'm not sure. But there might be prayers for the dead. I believe in the Catholic religion, there are prayers for the dead. If anyone out there is Catholic or Sikh or even Hindu, can you please let me know if there are actual prayers for the dead? When it comes to religions, I grew up in an atheist household. So I learned as much about Christianity as I possibly could when I was a kid. I really tried to. So yeah, let me know about that if anyone knows that. But because Dad is saying that, he says he always talks to you. And that little human being in your household, he is actually quite a little expresser of dad's needs. I don't, is he talking, the little person? Because I don't know if he's talking. I don't know. Because people grow without my knowledge. But he, okay, dokie. Are you supporting your mom? Because that is something he would like. He's actually showing you rubbing your mother's back and telling your mom it is going to be okay. And okie dokie. He actually shows you, and I don't know if this is out of character or not for your dad. You know those things on TV, those popper things that they have? I'm sure people actually have them in real life. On New Year's Eve, that whoosh and whoosh, confetti goes everywhere. Somewhere in my head, I'm hearing that's an environmentally unfriendly thing or something like that. But anyway, he's showing that. So I actually think he wants you to celebrate his death day. I don't, okay, because he's showing me the cake and everything. I kind of think what he's getting at is they don't, from what I understand from people on the other side, it's not really their death day that they want you to celebrate. It is actually their birthday, the day they came to the planet, not the day they left the planet, because the day they came to the planet is seen as a more joyous occasion. And the day they left the planet makes everyone sad and cry. Um, he tells me that you're welcome to celebrate either or both because you're celebrating him and us and our father-daughter relationship. And I don't feel as though that's something he would have said in life. I actually think I feel that that's something he would have felt, but I don't know that he would have verbalized it to you. But he is saying it through me. But a lot of the times, especially with fellas, um, uh, especially fellas of a certain generation, like our parents' generation, they weren't really taught that they could express themselves the way females do, to be perfectly honest. And I'll find men, or it's kind of just the way men are, that they will say two words, but actually think a sentence, like a full paragraph of words, or feel something that somewhat betrays their words. Because okie dokie. And I think it's true for your father. I don't know that in his lifetime he was able to marry his emotions with his words, and that like he could feel something but pretend not to. Like he could be sad, but he could be stoic if he is sad. That's what I mean by that. So that's the feeling I'm getting now. And the feeling I have from him very, very strongly is your relationship with him, just your relationship, what you two have. That's what he wants you to celebrate because you're a parent now too, and you understand it in a different kind of way. And I would actually involve your baby with that when you do something that celebrates your dad. And it can be as simple as lighting a candle, he says, or having cake, something to eat. Yeah, because cake soothes the tummy. That's what he says. So, not quite sure entirely what he means by that, but I hope it makes sense and I hope it helps. Okie dokie. I would like to have a reading too, Bobbi. Of course. I had a little pre event chat with someone to help you pick my topic today. What is the most important for me to deal with? You. That's the first thing I hear. And yeah, well, you probably asked the question as he came in, but I hadn't seen your question because he knows more than I do. But yeah, he came in about 10-15 minutes ago, and because we're accustomed to each other. I say that because he's, yeah. Anywho, you're the most important thing. And I kind of think that the last time we were on together, I said something to you about having a vacation or something like that, going away, doing something for yourself. That is still very prevalent. And I'm hearing it like a spiritual retreat, which doesn't have to mean it has to be a spiritual retreat because not every, yeah, okie dokie. Yeah. I actually wonder if I would go on a spiritual retreat or if I would book myself in something that to me would help me to know spirit better, if that makes sense. Like just to be for 1 week in a hut on a beach would be a spiritual retreat for me. 110%. So whatever your spiritual retreat is, Pat, if that means going on a cruise, if that means going on a tour of something in some other country or even our own country, then that's what he would like you to do. He actually shows you picking up your husband and trying to take him with you, but that's a journey for him to take rather than one that you have to drag him along. Because your son calls him a slow learner, says that he is coming to terms. That's what he says, that he's trying. I even think that he's saying things out loud that Lauren can hear. There's something like that because he's showing me that. And I even think it's like, if you're here or if you can see me, or like something like that. But yeah, he wants you. You're the focus right now, what you would like. And yeah, I'm actually, he's showing you in my yoga yard on one of my yoga platforms. So if you've been thinking about trying to start yoga, okay, God, this is going to sound so self-serving, but you will know why I'm saying this to you, Pat. I am going to start classes on Fridays and Mondays. I'm going to start yoga classes on Fridays and Mondays. I haven't really taught regular yoga since COVID, and I'm actually going to do it. And I haven't really taught. I stopped because of COVID, and then I stopped because of my body, and then I realized that I was in more pain for my body because I'd stopped teaching yoga as much. So I'm going to be teaching yoga again. Okie dokie. So the most important for you to deal with is you. And I wonder if you were even on your list, to be perfectly honest, because I know you. And you may not have made it onto your own list, but you may have put stuff on your list that inadvertently are you. Yeah, and his brother. They just hit his brother in the forehead. Like, I could have had a V8. Like, he actually uses a term that I hear sometimes, guy. You know what the word before guy was. So there's, he's got to give his head a shake or something. Yeah, I don't know. Like, one of his brothers isn't listening. He's not believing. There's something like that. He's got his head up his bottom. There's something going on there. But he loves you. He thinks you're the healthiest one in the whole group. Is that upsetting? Anyway, hello, Catherine. I hope that helps, Pat. Okie dokie, Marnie. Constantly on my mind, but I'm having difficulty processing. Okie dokie. I actually have two things in my head, and I don't know if those are the two things that are on your mind, but one is I'm going to put it into your health because I see your feet. And the other one is I'm seeing your business a little bit. And it's kind of interesting to me that I see your feet and I see your business, because your feet symbolize rooting, money. See, and I thought it was like moving ahead, but maybe it's a little bit that too. But I think it's the rooting and the money and things like that. I actually think that the two things might be related in some way. Well, of course they're related. They both pertain to you. And that's interesting because it has to do with your kids, but not the one we think. Because I'm actually hearing your son's name. I'm not going to just expose your son and say his name, because you know that I know that we know that what your son's name is. But there's something having to do with him in regards to this, and I'm not. It's always so ambiguous when I'm doing it like this, because I don't have the person here to guide me, say yes or no, because and sometimes it's probably better that I don't have the person here to say yes or no, so that everything is kind of just fresh in my brain. But okie dokie. So I actually am, I got to say the word cricket. You know why I would say that word. So now that's not what I thought I was going to say. They say dig deeper, which I hope you understand what that means, because one would think that it would be reach higher, but it's dig deeper. So it might even be that you don't know that you can do this. It might be that And it's grassroots too. Grassroots meaning like on the ground. Grassroots to me, when something is grassroots, it is actually person to person. It's the old way things used to be. And that's actually what they're showing. You have, okay. Okie dokie. Honestly, they want a lot of meditation or at least rumination within your own mind as to why certain things happen to you. They want you to start looking into things in a spiritual way that have to do with what is actually happening within your physical world, because your physical world will actually reflect what's going on with you spiritually, which I think that you know and understand when it comes to your physical self and the body, and how the body will tell the mind what the soul is trying to say. Yours is like a continuous diatribe of what the soul is trying to say, which you know, but there's certain reasons why, because it doesn't happen to everybody, and it couldn't happen to the faint of heart. You're a tough one, and you know you're a tough one. You can do anything, and I actually think that's what this is all about. Oh, and I see butterflies. When I see butterfly, well, butterflies are transformation. That's what I always see them as. Caterpillar to butterfly is actually like death to me, which death to me is a transformation. We come out of the corporeal form and then we can fly. That's the way I see passing. But with butterflies, particularly with you, can a lot of times mean love. And I just will flat out say that I'm seeing that as well. So I kind of think they're showing you becoming mobile, and you actually have help in you becoming mobile and starting to go out there. And they want you to go out there and promote yourself like you promote somebody else. They want you to put that energy into you. And I see your kids very much involved. So if they're not involved yet, you might want to think of all the ways that they're supposed to be in some kind of way. I know for myself, one of the things with my business that my kids do help provide me with is the knowing of things, because they're much more apt with social media, or they just kind of know things about it in ways that we do not, and other sorts of avenues of things. So you might want to go with them for that, but I still think I'm missing something. But I kind of hope that I'm so around it that you can go, oh, no, 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 Bobbi, I know exactly what you're talking about. So if that's not the case, please yell at me or let me know. But I'm feeling, yeah, I think I'm cool, but I'm not. That didn't make sense, did it? No. Can I do the cord cutting on his behalf? I'm sorry, before I even finished here in the sentence, they said no, he has to do it, because you can help to manifest it or facilitate it with him with two things. One, by being there while he does it, so that you're adding or lending to this. But they say the suggestion needs to come from you because you're the authority on this in some sort of way, which it could be that you know more metaphysical stuff than he does. Because I also even saw too, when I see him seeking out the YouTube video to do a cord cutting, it's a male voice he uses. And I use a lot of female voices myself because I'm female and I'm just a little bit more accustomed to female voices rather than male, especially when they're whispering in my ear at night. I don't like that. It just strikes up some old stuff. So they show that with him too, that because he might want to reside with a male voice rather than a female voice. So it really kind of needs to be a him thing. Okie dokie. I got this for Mother's Day last year. It had a candle in it at the time. Now it's a cup. Okay, well, it was always a cup. Now it has tea in it instead of a candle. Linda, today is my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, mommy. Kidoki. From my mom directly for my son, Lee. Oh, that directly for Lee. Okie dokie. grandma's watching you. That's actually what I heard first. He needs to know that. He actually needs to know he's connected. And he needs to know that it's me that keeps bothering him. She actually even shows him doing this. So I think he either, it might be not anxiety, anxious maybe, or just like, I just feel weird, or I feel something like, yeah, I actually think he feels grandma. Because she actually shows herself standing next to him going like, when someone taps you on the shoulder, it's crazy. That's like what she's doing. Like, pay attention to me, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. And if you haven't gotten her a cake or don't have any, you might want to not, but I don't know if you want to go out and get a cake now at this late hour. I don't know how late it is. It's not really late. Sun's still out. But, or commemorate her, light a candle or something like that. Happy birthday, Mom. Yeah, she actually, I can hear you singing happy birthday to her. So, and do you have a beautiful voice? Because she says you have a beautiful voice, or she'd love to hear it because it sounds like her. She'll try to sing it with you. There's something like that. And I actually think you're doing a lovely job of commemorating her, because she just told me that. She said you do a lovely job of commemorating me. You don't shy away from her. She would like Lee to do the same. And a little bit with that, I can feel not a naughtiness, but kind of like an idea that her telling Lee that he needs to do the same will actually now not add to his stress, but add something so that he has to acknowledge the fact that grandma's on the other side. When he does that, when he gets home with that, then he'll be able to hear and see her better. Because I kind of think he can. Is Lee really connected? Because he looks really connected to me, but not in a way that he knows, or maybe he knows, but he might not know how much, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Okie dokie. So thank you, Linda. Okay. Oh my goodness. You've lived where you live for 35 years and you're going to move. Oh, wow. See, there's my attachment disorder coming in. Goodness gracious. We seem to have quite a theme that actually just keeps to be moving in that same kind of way. It's really neat, a mosquito. There are no coincidences. So this is going to be a big one for you. But is it a retirement age thing, Linda? Because it kind of feels like that. Like this is, you're making that last move just in case. Not that you're going to get sick or die or get in, yeah, not like that. But, you know, we get to a point where we just want to have younger family around us because it's handy. Yeah, and I hope I didn't just call you old because I don't know how old you are. So I apologize if it felt like that because I didn't mean to. I just have to go with what comes on in my head. Hello, Caitlin. How are you? Oh, you don't know where you're going to land. Oh, interesting. So I must be making that suggestion because, again, when I see that, Linda, sorry, we don't know where we're going to land. I see you going near a daughter or somewhere around there. Yeah, I'm not sure where your daughter resides. So, yeah. Okie dokie. All right. Hello, Amanda. How are you? Hello, Tammy. How are you? Okie dokie. Caitlin, did I make the right decision about leaving my job to work from home? Will this work out? I actually get a resounding yes, 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 especially if you want it to, especially if you, I actually say believe it should is actually what I hear. I also hear you deserve this. Allow this for you. And I kind of think that working from home will allow you more creative license, will allow you to actually expand. Okie dokie. I work at home, obviously. I'm in my home right now, and I have worked at home almost entirely ever since I have worked from home for a very long time. I have worked from home since my late 20s. And one of the reasons I did was my kids. And now I still don't know if I actually wonder if I should, but time management, that's what they want me to hit you with. I try to keep my work, on one level and my living on another level, but that doesn't happen. I will work until I fall asleep. I will work the minute I wake up. But look at the job I have. I mean, my goodness. I have like my job's Disneyland. I have the greatest job on the planet. I am fortunate and lucky. Do you love your job as much as I do? Because I kind of believe I get in trouble for working as much as I do under this roof. There are certain folks that would like me to not work so much. Think it stresses me out. I think I work too hard. But I would feel like a whirling dervish if I didn't. So, but I don't know that. Yeah, I want to say no, that's not the same for you, but I kind of think it is. And I think they want you to embrace it and love it. And it might even be that working from home makes it so, because if you're working for somebody else and doing something for them, that's wonderful, but it might actually manage to, it's going to expand your horizons. That's how they keep putting it to me. It's going to expand your horizons. So, but there needs to be a bit of a definition so you don't constantly feel like you're at work, because I don't know that your job is as fun as my job is. So that's what I have. Oh, wow. I see. Okie dokie. So when I asked Linda if she had piece of her dad with her, she has his false teeth. And I tell you, that puts my razor and brush to shame, Linda. To shame. Thank you. If I move from the space we created, there's nothing to hold me here. I would not survive a year. Okie dokie. I see, because you can feel his energy there. You can feel his energy everywhere, though. I could send you to Hawaii, to Timbuktu, to Mars, and you would feel his energy. That's the way that I'm hearing it. But there's a rooted thing that actually even goes beyond that, and it's a lot with you. I actually think you've done a lot of beautiful rich witchcraft where you are, and you have created almost trees where you are. And in fact, what they're showing me is, I think about leaving this place, and every time I do, my garden throws in my head. And this rowan tree, I have an actual rowan tree that is voluntarily grown in my garden. And it's in a spot that I actually have on the cover of my book that I drew, and I didn't even realize what I was drawing when I drew it. So I get you on that one, Jerry. You actually start to wonder, am I rooted here within what I'm able to do, as well as those who I have loved and built this place with? Yeah. And I honestly think you're going to take it with you when you cross. You're just going to recreate it up there. And he's already done so. So honestly, you're going to get there and go, oh, well, I thought I had it. You had it the whole time. Because it's a little bit in both places at the same time. Thank you, Colleen. There is in the Catholic Church, and that is prayers for the dead, right? Thank you, Colleen. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, we all need each other, don't we? Okie dokie, Caitlin. Oh, we already asked about leaving a job while I work out. Any guidance on what I can do to make it better moving forward? Okie dokie. Hopefully we did answer that with the first one, because there's other things that they said. Okie dokie. Hello, Donna. Anything for me? I actually, the minute I see this, I see boxes. And cardboard boxes mean moving or putting away superfluous stuff. And considering the theme of today, it would seem that putting away superfluous stuff might be where we're going with this. Or it can actually mean having dead people's things in your house, because that is almost like superfluous stuff, because you just have it because it's theirs. You don't usually have it because you're using it or need it. Okay, you might want to, if you don't already have boxes of superfluous stuff, you might want to streamline. And they show it like, because one of the reasons I have been streamlining or going through things is because I can see some sort of change coming towards me, a big change coming towards me, and I want to be organized for it. And I kind of see that same sort of thing for you, Donna, that there's something coming where you actually might want to be prepared, and preparedness might have to do with streamlining things and getting things to a point where you're like, this is this and that is that, and this is where these go. And I hope that makes sense. Okie dokie. Thank you, Sue. Okie dokie. Do you know what, Sue? Can you ask a question? Because I would love to give you a reading too. But with so many people around, that I might be too vague. So if you could ask me a specific question, then I will try to answer that to the best of my ability. Okie dokie. Yogi Berra, and I thought he was on the other side. Does everyone know who Yogi Berra is? He was a coach. Okie dokie. I think it was the Dodgers, wasn't it? Question: why hasn't my dad given me a visitation dream in a long time? Oh, goody, because we were kind of talking about this. And how can I enhance this? I feel like when I talk to him and hear his voice, messages as well, but I miss the visitation dreams. I get you. And I actually was even talking about that earlier, that my dad used to come in visitations all the time, and I haven't had a visitation dream in a while that I can mark as I was talking with my dad. I Okie dokie. With your dad in particular, yeah, their dreams are still there, but they're coming in a different way. And when we talk about enhancement, okie dokie. Are you stressed? Is there a lot on your mind? Because that's what actually I'm seeing, that when you go to bed at night, you have first world issues all on top of your head. And when I say first world issues, I am not trying to dumb down your issues. I'm not trying to take anything away from the validity of them, but I think they use the word first world because there are things that we get very concerned about here in this realm, on the earthly realm, on this planet, that are not of a concern on the other side. We're not concerned about rent or starving. There's no money on the other side. We're not concerned about stuff like that. It's actually the betterment of self and the with the collective, which is actually what we're supposed to be concerned about here as well. But we have created this ridiculous system where we everything relies on money. Everything. Even when we die, it costs us money. It's crazy what we do here. So, anywho, that's what your dad is showing me. Your dad is also showing me birds. So he's trying to come to you in birds. And when you say you hear his voice, are you actually hearing his voice, or are you hearing him speak to you in your thought voice? Because I have, when I hear anyone on the other side, it's they're using my voice in my head. I've only actually heard a separate voice a couple of times, and both times it has been my grandmother, and it is to alert me to something. That's once it was my baby I fell asleep with my baby on my chest. So yeah. So I'm curious about that because it almost feels like you guys have very similar voices, or there's something. I don't deny you can hear him at all in the slightest, but I actually think your father has grown. So it's almost like he's showing himself as the Jolly Green Giant. And if the Jolly Green Giant, as the Jolly Green Giant were to grow, if he were to talk to you, his voice would become higher and maybe a little bit more distant, and maybe it would take longer for the information to get to you. That's really a great analogy. It's a really a great analogy for ascension. Your dad's brilliant, Yogi Berra. Like, that is an excellent way of explaining that to me. That was really, really, really good. And do you even know who the Jolly Green Giant is? Actually, now that I think about it, I always forget that there aren't commercials anymore, and not everyone knows a ho, ho, ho Green Giant is. Yeah, anyway. So, yeah, I actually think your father's ascending, and he's using things outside of your dreams and in your waking hours, and talking to you in your waking hours, and give him things to do. Say, Dad, if you're here, please show me 3 of these, and give him something like not outlandish and insane. Don't say, I want to see 3 rainbows at once, but you never know. You never know. There could be a rainbow in the sky, and then you could be driving by someone who has a rainbow sticker on their car, and then you could look and see a prism, 3 rainbows at once. That's how easy it is. So give your dad something else to give to you, because I'm not going to say it's you, but it kind of is you. You might want to meditate and let go of the day before you go to bed, because you have a lot on your mind and it's kind of getting in your way. So I apologize for saying that, but it's what I hear. Okie dokie. You're welcome, Pat. Okie dokie. I hope there you are again, Yogi Bear. Okay, Sue. I lost a loved one in October. Do they have any messages from you? Okie dokie. Immediately I get the I'm okay. And yeah, I'm okay. They do follow it up with the better than you are, which is very, very, very usual. And it's almost what I expect to hear now. But those are the two things when people ask how their loved ones are on the other side. I either get I'm okay or I'm better than you. And when they say that, what they're just trying to tell you is they're not cold, they're not hungry, they're not experiencing things the way you used to experience them. Was it a shock that they crossed over? Because it's either a shock that they crossed over or they're shocked by what they find on the other side. Were they an atheist? Did they not even believe in the other side? Were they even shocked to find an other side? That's quite possible from what I'm seeing. But or because I've had people who have gone to the other side under a very strict religion and then found that it's not all what they thought it was going to be. And that there's people of other religions and they're annoyed. That sometimes happens, but it's something like that. Like their belief system doesn't quite coincide with what they're experiencing, but they're pleasantly surprised with what they're experiencing. Also, they've been trying to get a hold of you. That's the way I'm hearing it. Trying to get a hold of you. You don't always know that it's them. What I'm seeing is quarters. So if I'm seeing quarters, what that brings my brain to is I lost someone precious to me in 2022, and I designated quarters with her. So when I see a quarter, I just say, hello, Aunt Patty. That's what I say. And very often they'll come because I designated certain coins for certain people on the other side because I had a few die all at the same time. So there's something like that they want from you so that they know that this is what you expect when they want to communicate with you, because they can't set the parameter because they can't make you know what they're doing, if that makes sense. Even when you know what they're doing, it's hard for you to know what they're doing. You know what I mean? You can find a dime and you can say, oh, thank you, whoever left the dime, and not actually see it, but that you know that they're trying to communicate with you, but you're not sure who is communicating with you. That's what I mean by that. When you know what they're doing, but you don't always know what they're doing. So you kind of have to tell them because you're the one being communicated with. The world is there. They have so many things they can do to communicate with you. So you almost have to narrow it down so that they can narrow it down. So I hope that clarifies that. Okie dokie. Oh, okay. Okie dokie. So Marnie just has titanium in her back now. So she's the Tarmarnator. See, this woman has gone through health difficulties that would floor most people. Most people would crawl up into a ball and say, oh, what was me? What was me? And she just keeps on laughing about it and making jokes and fighting. And good for you, Marnie. When they say that they put you through the trials because others would not make it through, they're showing me how tough you are. You know how tough you are. I think you know how tough you are. Get out there, young lady. Oh, these are tough. These are tough. My daughter can't find her silver necklace Maddox got her for Christmas. Can you ask my mom where it is? Okie dokie. It's so hard to find things, and I only because they'll show you where it is. Like you can see, oh, it's between two things. I can't see the two things. My first thought, and I'll just go with my first thought and what I saw, it looks like she either wore it to bed or something. It looks like it's between her bed and her wall. That's what it looks like. Okay, but yeah, okie dokie. That flashed, and then I saw it go behind what looks like a vanity or a dresser. So it is slipped behind something and is between. So you might actually want to pull the furniture out, but it's a silver necklace, so it's small and it could slide in to places. So yeah, okie dokie. Yeah, I honestly believe she's going to get it back soon because I hear she's going to get it back soon. Because my first inclination when I started reading it was that it was taken. And by taken, my father, I believe, took a necklace of mine 24 years ago because I was too attached to it. And so he took it because it symbolized him. And that's what I believe. And I believe he did it because I had children, because it was after I had my first child. I believe that. So I saw that too, like, or something that felt like that. So it might be a bit of a lesson for your daughter in taking care of her stuff a little bit. Or yeah, but I have her pull her mattress out. And if it's not behind her mattress, it might be behind her vanity. And if it's not behind either one of those, it's between something. Something, yeah. I'm sorry. That's not as helpful as I would like it to be, but it's always like that when I go to find something. So, hello, Rob. Uh, Okie dokie. Who's coming to see me? Grandma. I get like a little breeze goes by me, not near a window. Yeah, 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 yeah. Is there a smell that accompanies it? They want you to pay attention to the smell because the smell will tell you who it is. And I actually even think you know who it is. I really do. And immediately when I read I thought, Grandma. Yeah, your mom's mom. Yeah, Vi. Yeah, Vi. Yeah. Okie dokie. Honestly, Pam, try to believe differently. Even if your logical mind tells you a person won't do something, see them doing it over and over and over again. And maybe he won't do it the way we would do it. He might do it the way he would do it. But see him doing that and releasing that. Because if you want someone to do something, worrying about how they do it will actually, or worrying that they won't do it will actually help them to not do it. Because what we worry about, we actually create. So I know that's annoying. I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm sorry. Hello, Philistine buyers. Philistine. Am I saying your name right? What a neato name. Philistine? Philistine. How? Oh, fine. Okie dokie. That makes sense. Does my mom or sister come to me? I seem to feel at times, but not sure. Are they upset because I'm still here? No, not at all. Immediately I hear no, not at all. In fact, they point and laugh at you. Like, ha ha, you're still there. We're here. It's almost like it's like they want you to think of it like you guys were all in the lineup to get into the concert, and then they got into the concert, but you're still in line. They're like, "We're here, we're gonna be," and you're gonna come. You're in the lineup, but we're already here, and they're waving to you. I that's the way I can see it, and I want you to see. They want me to tell you to that they want you to see it in that way too, because yeah, it does. It reminds me of the Love Boat, like, at the beginning when they'd all wave and throw all the stuff into the ocean because humans are terrible. Anyway, but yeah, that's yeah. Oh wow. My mom passed 20 years ago in May. I still have the clothes she was wearing at the time. I also have W clothes he passed in. I probably shouldn't not have them anymore. Do you know what I'm seeing? And you know what you might want to do actually? You might want to burn those clothes because it is a Canadian indigenous tradition to burn a plate of food for folks on the other side and to burn some clothes so that they are fed and they are warm on the other side. And I saw it actually that you might want to burn the clothes because first off, W says that you won't let go of them any other way. And okie dokie, this serves a purpose for them. Yeah. And I can almost hear you asking if you can come burn them in my yard. Because I don't know. Sure. I'm more than happy to let you burn them here. But I don't know if my neighbors would be happy, but you're one of them. So, yeah. And that's I'm sorry. Yeah, either that or donate so they can go on to somebody else. But there's a release because you don't need them because he's right there and so is she. I hope that helps. Okie dokie. Now, I'm gonna try. Okay, honestly, Phyllis, Can you be just any messages from you is great, but you might want to ask just a specific question because just because it gets so big and ambiguous, like me calling out Vi's name without even realizing Vi was actually in the comments, things like that. Yeah. Sue has further down. Okay, I think we did. I answered it, didn't I, Sue? I have lost the love one October. Yes. Thank you, Sue. Thank you very much. You are very welcome, Donna. Okie dokie. Do you feel that doctors will get to the bottom of the problem I have in my lower abdomen soon? I gotta tell you, um, I immediately heard probably not. And only because it might not be something the doctor can completely fix. I actually hear it's stress, to be perfectly honest, which I think may annoy you, to be perfectly honest, because what are you going to do with that? How are you going to fix that? But and actually, I'm hearing duodenum. So I don't know if you know your stomach parts. I have a stomach thing, so I have actually researched the stomach a little bit. Your duodenum is that little part of your stomach that releases the food and lets everything go into the intestines. And sometimes if your duodenum can get a ligament wrapped around it and it can stay closed and then not allow the food to get through. And so you get bloated and it gets very painful and it hurts and they say something about the top of your tummy. That to me would be the bottom of your tummy, but they say something about the top of your tummy as well. I don't know if they have tested you for H. pylori. I think that's a ghost of a chance. That's how they've just put it to me with the H. pylori. Yeah, they really are hot in that H. pylori thing. But I think it is somewhat stress related because I have a stomach issue that is real. It is like it's a goat kicked me kind of stomach issue, and it is most definitely stress related. It is stress related that has become a real and actual physical thing within my body. So when somebody says it's all in your mind, they're really like every illness is all in your mind, my friends. And it's because our minds actually create the illnesses in our bodies due to things we're feeling that we either don't want to deal with or we don't realize, or it's something that is part of your spiritual or social contract that you're supposed to go through. Geez, that didn't sound nice, did it? I'm sorry, Linda. But yeah, top of the tummy. I'm supposed to say top of the tummy. So I'm not quite sure why I'm supposed to say top of the tummy. I'm supposed to say top of the tummy, duodenum, and I do hear H. pylori. There's something, yeah. And H. pylori would make sense to me too, because it's a grouping of ulcers in the tummy, and that would be very, very stress related. Your stomach is your solar plexus chakra. It's your power chakra. When things are going on in your stomach, it has to do with your feelings of power. Now, you know, I just said that very, very, very definitely, and that was kind of incorrect. It is just a little leading when I say something so definitely, but it is something that I have physically felt and experienced myself. So I kind of can say that a little bit definitely. So I hope that makes some sense, Linda. I almost feel like I added more questions than answers, to be perfectly honest. Okie dokie. Being here gives me a reason to live. It holds me on this side. Yeah, it anchors you. Yeah. And honestly, can I just say the words they said? The words I just heard was, I hate to burst your bubble, but I actually think one of the things that holds you on this side is you still have work to do. And I think that work has to do with the metaphysical, and I think it has to do with us. And it might have to do with teaching or mentoring or bringing more of what you know. I always see you standing in front of a cauldron. And in fact, oh no, I don't have that book right here. It's upstairs, darn it. I'm just going to show you a book with a painting. It's one of the paintings of the Morgan. I believe it's the Morgan. Yeah, there's a raven, there's a cauldron. She has a wand at her side. That's what I see when I think of you, Jerry. So I totally and absolutely understand your feeling of being rooted as to where you are. But I think that you are still here with us because you still have something to give. And it might, yeah, it might be when you do give it, that is your release. Okie dokie. Okay. Ah, okie dokie. You have a thought voice in your head. And yes, I see birds often. Lots of hummingbirds stop and look at me. And yes, lots of stress. Okie dokie. Sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah. Okie dokie. Ah, hello, everyone from Melinda. Hello, Melinda. Good to have you here. Okie dokie. Laura Lee. My dear friend passed away recently, and I was feeling better and ready to plan a memorial celebration. I was feeling like I was super tuned in and excited about all the beautiful things to plan. And then someone else close to him wants it all different, and I don't know what to do. But it doesn't seem right. I wonder how to resolve it. I don't feel the way that they want. It really honors his legacy the way I feel he'd like. I'm sorry. I hear ding, ding, ding. You're correct. You're super correct. And I don't know that you can. I don't know that you can oppose this person. I kind of think, I don't know if they're a family member, because that's actually what I'm hearing. You can't oppose a family member, or you feel that you can't oppose. And I don't know that you would, to be perfectly honest. I kind of think you might want to look at having something separate, and something that is more of a celebration of dance, or a celebration of, there's something like that. It's still a celebration. When I see, whenever they show me people getting rid of ashes, they show me this one beach that's, I think it's in Maple Bay. Actually, it has an arbutus tree. They always show me an arbutus tree, and we're on a rocky beach, because Vancouver Island's super rocky. It's very hard to get sandy beaches unless you're on the other side of it. And arbutus tree, and they always show people doing the ashes. When you talk about your celebration that you want to do for him, I'll keep that up so people know what the heck I'm talking about. When you talk about the celebration you want to do for him, that's where I see you guys doing. And he shows it as two separate ones, like, kind of like when we have, this is the funeral and this is the memorial service, or because people can have funerals and then have a wake. I kind of think that's the way it used to be back in the olden days when I was a teen, like in the 80s. But so you can still do that and invite them and have it your kind of way as a celebration of him. And then it's less offending. Offending is actually the word I get to them, because they see it as how his friends or other folks would have celebrated, rather than this is an expression of what he is, because they might see him differently. And considering the circumstances, apparently, that everything's a little precarious, and everyone needs to hold on to what they think he was in some sort of way. Like, I think everyone is doing this to him. It's laughable, apparently. I kind of think he's being put on a death pedestal from what he's showing me. Because yeah, and people do that a lot. Death pedestal is when someone dies and then everyone decides they never ever farted or said anything bad or did anything humanish. They're just so perfect. And that we do that with the dead. So we do it with dead actors all the time. Like, actors that couldn't act, and then they're like, like, I love James Dean, but have you ever seen his movies? My gosh. Anyway, okay, sorry, I'm probably just pissed off so many James Dean fans, so I didn't mean to, but he really watched the movies. Watch Rebel Without a Cause. My goodness. Thank you. I really appreciate you too, Marnie. Okie dokie. Happy Easter, Julie. Okie dokie. Carmen, you're very welcome. Yep. Do you see some healing and recovery in our community street, and any blockages, physical and mental, being removed? Any unity and tension too? Ooh, do you mean in the broader sense, Carmen? Because yeah, but it's going to take a little bit of time, and it's going to take a little bit of understanding. Absolutely. And yeah, I actually saw a massive enlightenment coming 4 years ago, but we weren't ready for the massive enlightening. People kind of had a Yeah, we have physical too. Yes. Okie dokie. Yeah. Okie dokie. Um, Okie dokie. Uh, Golly sakes, when you ask that question, I get weird things popping off in my head, but I'm going to say them anyway. I'm going to say them anyway. I kind of think you are asking me for a confirmation of something that you believe or that you can feel inside of you. And I am going to say, yes, I'm going to confirm it to you. I am going to, okay, okie dokie. Okay, this is actually how I'm supposed to say it to you. And I don't know what kind of position that you hold or if you have any sort of power over folks. And by power over folks, I mean like to help people. That's power. Helping is power. But uh okie dokie. I hear the word drastic. And I when I see, because I see actually in the next year, in 2025. But I would like to see it as positive. 110% as positive, and I refuse to look at it any other way because I do not want to manifest something that ought not be there. And I would like to set that intention with everyone who's still listening right now or watching, that we set the intention that actually what we can feel coming, because I think that's a little bit what you're talking about, because something is coming, is actually going to be positive. And we're going to be able to accept it and know it and see it this time. Because the last time that it came, it freaked people out. People went, oh my God. And people felt paranoid and people felt watched and people felt as though something was looming over them, because it was, because they were being watched, I believe. Oh my gosh, I am saying this out loud. There are certain things that I know and see and feel that I kind of keep to myself because I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure if they're real or true and they sound fanciful. Ah, okie dokie, Carmen. Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah, okay. I got to be completely candid because, Carmen, I don't want to make you think that you're cuckoo either, because I sometimes think I'm cuckoo when this happens for me because it's too much, it's big and it's so much. And I come by this ability in my head naturally. It is something that was bestowed rather than something that I searched for. So I have to make sense of it in some sort of way. So to me, I actually, I look at homeless people as kindred spirits because I got lucky. This is the way I think of it. I got lucky that they put the people in that they put in for me. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at it this way, please, Carmen. Good things are coming. Yeah, good things come to those who wait. That's actually how I'm supposed to say. Good things come to those who wait. And when the last enlightenment surge came, all I kept being told was meditate, meditate, meditate. We want to talk to you. So that's what I'm to tell you now, Carmen. Meditate, 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 because we want to talk to you because you are hearing and you are listening, and you actually might want to put it outside of you. So write down what you're hearing, write down the impressions you get. Honestly, too, a little bit so that you can go, look, I knew. I knew 2024 this is going to happen, things like that. So they want you to allow this information to come through you and allow it to come out of you as well, please. Okie dokie. Oh. Burn sage and right. That's exactly it. Burn sage and right, and get some salt too. Yeah, because I'm seeing the salt, the Himalayan pink salt. I'm glad that candle was out before I grabbed that. That was silly. Okie dokie. Ah, awesome. Thank you very much, Larly. He was quite a famous guy, and yeah, I understand. Oh, okay. He was quite the famous guy. Oh, wish me. Let me know what it is. Just kidding. And I hope you're in charge of the celebration part. Awesome. That is absolutely awesome. And if you can add dancing, there's something about dancing. I keep hearing about dancing. Was he a dancer? Did he like dancing, or did he like to see people dancing crazy? Something about dancing. Okie dokie. All right. That's an hour and a half. And that is absolutely perfect. I keeping it to 90 minutes, an hour and a half is is perfect for me. I've already done 3 full hours of readings with beautiful people that came to my house for their readings. So I am so glad that we were all able to connect. I am so grateful for everyone who came. I knew it was kind of a long shot being Easter weekend. People are really, really busy right now, but actually, these kind of weekends are good weekends to do this because not everybody's busy, or they're busy, but they don't want to be because, family. All right. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a happy and wonderful Easter. I hope that Ostara blesses you with new life and new beginnings. And just for Easter, maybe, okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I did it last Easter and I'm going to do it this Easter. I actually went and got little terracotta pots from the dollar store, and every person at my table got a terracotta pot, and I put a bunch of markers, the type that are permanent, not like Jiffy, the actual things for painting markers. I can't remember the name. And everyone made their own fairy house. And the fairy village is just over there. So I will actually be adding more, so that more fairy village, because we're going to make fairy houses again at Easter. So I'm just telling you what we do. And because when I do things for fairies in my yard, my plants grow more beautifully that summer. True. Because one year I didn't do it, and boy, oh boy. So, Verna, happy Easter. Okie dokie. So, thank you, everyone, for coming. I had a marvelous time. I hope that you did too. I will be back. I will be back sooner than you think. I have 2 fairs coming up. Well, I say 2 fairs. I haven't actually signed up for one of them, so I hope there's still room. So I plan on being at Health, Light, and Love's Fair in mid-April in Campbell River. And I actually might be going up to Port Hardy at the end of the month to do that fair, because something tells me I really want to. Yeah, well, I do, but there are people in my head are telling me I need to go there. So I will be there, hopefully. Yeah. And then you can get a hold of me at bornmedium@gmail.com, or on my website at Trinity Yoga and Spiritual Services.com. Find me and you can make an appointment if you'd like. Thank you so much for coming. Happy Easter, everyone. Bye.